Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be back in my office at home post elopement. Thank you guys so much for all of your congratulations, everything that you had shared, and just were so sweet to congratulate us and our time, my husband and I. And obviously, with this video, this is something that I have been thinking about doing for a while. And while we were away, and also once we came home, we did some thrifting because I love to thrift. I love to find different things. I love to feel like if there's any spiritual or like psychic attachments to anything when I'm at the thrift also. I have more content that's going to be coming out about that because we did a fun video together. But I wanted to show you guys what I got at the thrift, both where we were in Maine and then also when we came home in my town in Pennsylvania, not too far down the road. I have a TikTok that I made also where I tagged the location. Super sweet Jean Yetter and her family, her granddaughter specifically, that took us through her year-round yard sale location in town. So I have a couple things that I wanted to go over with you guys, and specifically when it comes to making an altar. How do we make an altar? How do we put things together for our ancestors? I follow a lot of Celtic tradition because I am Irish for the most part. And so just a way for me to feel a little bit more in touch and in tune with my spirit guides, these are some of the things that I found in my home, kind of thrifted in my own basement, but also that I found when we were thrifting, just to be able to put together some things in a way that felt really aligned for what I was looking to do in order to honor my ancestors. What are some of the things that I found, and some pictures that I also wanted to get framed to put up on my wall. So I want to start with two of the things that I found in my home that are specific to my grandmother that I work with most closely and who I talk to every day. And something that was really sweet that I found, I have like a little, let me kind of pivot for you guys. I have a little setup with my sewing machine here, the rest of my basement. And so underneath there, I have some of like her old paperwork and stuff like that. And so what's so sweet, and this is where like just trusting in divine timing is so crucial. I actually found a wedding card that was still in the plastic. So every other card in there, like these ones too, besides I'll talk about this in a second, was, just in like its normal paper. You barely ever see a wedding card that's still wrapped in plastic. And it's the only wedding card that was in there. And for those of you who don't know, my grandmother passed away. Let's see, I'm 31, when I was 19, between my freshman and sophomore year in college. And so she's been gone for a while, but again, I still feel like she's so present with me. Her name was Rose. And so beautiful Roses, the three of us, my fiance, or my husband now, Manny, myself, and my grandmother, I see kind of like the matriarch of our family. So I'll read it to you guys. Just a sweet inside was, may all your special hopes and dreams start coming true today. May your joy grow ever greater as you walk along life's way. May your days be filled with sharing and warm with caring too. And may the love that's yours today stay ever fresh and new. And I love this so much just because like the swans, we had cranes that were on our wedding cake that we got from the thrift store because I was looking for vintage cake toppers for a few days. We spent a few days before in Maine. I'll talk more about that in my wedding vlog. But what I love about the Irish tradition, and my grandmother was from like the Galway area of Ireland, for those of you who are familiar, is that limericks and riddles, Limerick is literally a town in Ireland, are very like special to honoring the ancestors of Irish ancestry. And so I love that I have this card to put on my altar. I had a little bridal altar, or ofrenda as well. For those of you who don't know, my husband Manny is Cuban. So there's a lot of the Spanish tradition that I've started to incorporate now that we're married and living in our home together. We've been here for about 3 years now. So just another like sweet little offering that I can put on my altar just to honor my grandmother as one of the spirit guides. Something else my grandmother did a lot was donate to the Catholic Church because she was a good Irish Catholic woman. And it's funny because when they immigrated here, it was her grandparents. It was my grandfather's parents that immigrated. My mom is technically second generation because she could get dual citizenship. This is my mom's mom that I'm talking about. And so it's funny because when we moved to Pennsylvania, we actually live an hour away, not even, but maybe about an hour from where my family immigrated from Ireland to the United States. So a lot of Catholicism is deeply steeped in the Irish culture as well as Celtic tradition. And so especially when you immigrate to the US for a lot of different reasons. But one of the things that she has is all of these now vintage rosary beads. And so I love them, even though I'm not like, I wouldn't say a religious person, but a spiritual person. So I have her, one of these rosary beads. I love like the beautiful white pearls. Sometimes I'll wear rosary beads like as jewelry. A lot of you guys have seen in my Energy of the Day videos that I'll also wear her Celtic cross. So this is one of the things that I wanted to put on my altar as well. Now, for some of the fun thrift finds that I found in Maine, I love vintage tins. My mom also is a big antiquer, and so I credit a lot of that to her. I have a Taurus fourth house as well, so like taking the time to find the perfect thing is important. I'm not going to put this on my altar space, but I just wanted to show you guys because I thought it was so cool. If I can open it, there we go. I don't know if it was for, what did they say? A vintage Victorian tea tin with cherubs. I love anything with cherubs. You're going to notice that it's kind of a little bit of a theme. So I probably won't put anything edible in there. Probably won't store my own tea, but I'm thinking that this is going to go on my kitchen counter upstairs. I don't have a ton of space to work with on my altar space down here, one of many that just kind of sit around the house, but this is something I wanted to show you guys too. At the same antique store, I found this little trinket dish. It just says brass and enamel trinket dish, $10. This was $35, so a little bit more pricey, but I also think it's just because they were able to track it back authentically. But a little $10 trinket dish, which I love. Another little cherub, but I don't even know what kind of animal it is. It looks like a seal. I should probably look into the iconography of it. This is probably also going to go into my my kitchen upstairs. And then this is a little $5 necklace, but I don't know if you guys have seen from like different home decor videos, if you find like home decor vlogs, just to kind of lay something like that together on a coffee table, just for a little bit more of like visual interest, or using like this as a bookmark in an interior design book on your coffee table is also just a really beautiful way to add some intention, and just like more than just something that Marshalls can give you. You know, Marshalls is great for so many things, but when you just have something that you know feels like it has a little bit of a story behind it, I love that as a talking piece. And no, I don't think any of these things were haunted. What's also really sweet, just to shout out to Kay, it was a very sweet woman who gifted us this ornament for Just Married when we bought this little oyster shell, which had a map of the location that we got married at in the coast of Maine. We were staying in Ogunquit a lot, which is also really cute. I'll come a little bit closer. And it has all the towns that we visited. We got married in York, PA at the Viewpoint Hotel. And then we kind of we actually started up north and then came back down. So it has a little bit of everything. And that was the stuff that I got from Maine. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to get, because I want to decorate the wall space above, I'll actually pivot so you guys can see what we're working with right here. It's going to be that space right there. That's my outdoor area that a lot of you have seen, and my little fireplace there that my husband had put together for me. This was $10 at another local thrift store. I love, I'm an art historian by university degree, and so you can see a little bit of the reflection of my office, but this was $10. I believe that this is I don't believe it's Botticelli. I have to go back, Caravaggio, maybe, but I have to go back and look because I used to have this committed to memory. It's been 10 years since I was studying art history classes, so my Italian Renaissance is not exactly there, although this is an Italian Renaissance painter, I can tell you that. So that was something I also got that I want to put on the wall above my altar space too. Now, for the fun things that I just got yesterday, so sweet, so fun. It was funny because it was actually a TikTok that led me to remembering that this place exists near me. And so I wanted to just show you some of the things that I got specifically with the altar space in mind. And then I got a couple other things. Like this was literally $3. It was $6, but the Christmas stuff was 50% off. I love like some like vintage Santa Claus. Every woman that celebrates Christmas has an icon. I love vintage Santas, but I also started collecting nutcrackers, like vintage nutcrackers. So that's also something that I've been working on. So now for some of the fun things. Oh, what did I get? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. This here. Let me get, hold on, let me see if I brought my photos down here. Okay, so I did not have my photos down here, but a few of you that follow me on YouTube Live that have been with me for a while probably have seen these photos. This is my grandfather that was married to my grandma Rose that I've been mentioning. This is a picture of us in her house. These are my great grandparents. Can you tell that they're from Ireland? And I believe this was their 50th wedding celebration, which is really sweet just because it's my wedding season. It says mom and pop on the banner above them. They immigrated to Jersey City when they immigrated to the US. I have this picture that I wanted to use. And then I have these ones. This is my same grandmother, my grandma Rose. I don't know who's with her in the photos. It's funny. It says August 24th, 1957. So that's when it at least was developed. So the summer of 1957. So my grandmother was 27 in that photo, which is funny because Saturn return. And then that's the same grandfather in the middle there. It looks like from the same trip. What's funny, it looks like there was some pencil on it, or it just looks like the markings from, the old like Kodiak back of the paper. But it was so funny because I always say like how our ancestors speak to us. And so when I was looking around the thrift store, I was like, how can I find like something that this picture is supposed to go in? Because I already found frames for the other 3 pictures that I'll show you guys in a second. But I found this little angel and I was like, I could just tell when my grandmother comes through, she's a Scorpio moon, Cancer sun. She was born on July 5th. She's like, that's the one you need. I'm pretty sure she was a Virgo rising because that would make her a Leo Venus in the 12th house, which like for my grandmother and knowing my grandfather died when my mom was 21. There's like so much lore I can give you guys, but we're mostly talking about the altar space thrift finds today. But I knew that this is what she wanted. I literally filmed myself finding it. It's on my YouTube shorts as well as my TikTok and reels. But I knew that this is the one that she wanted. And it's just so something that like she would have picked out. This was $5 at the thrift store as well. And I just love that, like anything with a little bling, a little sparkle. She has like the little sparkle in her angel wings and just like something cute that just feels like it represented the innocence of this photo. Because what I like with altar spaces is that they don't have to be super curated and polished in a way that feels like you have to be in an episode of Architectural Digest. These are spaces that are really meant to offer and represent the way that you like to work with your ancestors and what you feel intuitively called to, especially when you're in a 9-room thrift store like I was in. Sometimes you're just going to have to answer the call of where you're meant to go. It happened when I was going through museums and school for art history. It happens to me at the thrift store now where I get like fatigue, where my max anywhere is usually about 90 minutes, ADHD, manifesting generator things. So I just knew that this is what she wanted me to have. I know it's funny because my husband was like, are you sure that's what you know that she's the one that's telling you that? And I'm like, yeah, do you not know that I'm psychic? Like, this is the way that this works. So we had some fun. Some other beautiful things that I saw. My whole wedding theme has been like chinoiserie, which is that black, we'll talk about the color black in a little bit, but that is the blue and white pottery. I love any of that pottery. That's been the theme of our wedding. We're having a celebration that's coming up with our family in October, just like a post-elopement celebration. So I've been looking for little vases just because I also love vases. And of course vases, right? My fiance or my husband, I keep having to remember to say that. My husband told me that the only difference in the pronunciation is how expensive the vase or the vase is. I didn't know that. He knew that. This was $3, so this is a vase, but it's just beautiful roses. I'm going to put some dried flowers from my wedding. I talk about my flowers and what I did with my flowers in my wedding vlog. I'll talk about that. $3. Hello. This is also Bavarian pottery. So, I mean, good things like this, like if you are somebody who likes to resell or if you want to know, like, and get something appraised, this is something that you should look into. There's like a bunch of YouTube videos about like how to assess it on your own. But what I also got from my altar space is this little vase that was part of that chinoiserie pottery. $1. $1. Okay, like no brainer. Stuff at the dollar store isn't even $1 anymore. So that's what I love about the places that I go to. This is so funny because I'll talk about this in my wedding vlog probably, but I also got one of these. If you know, you know. We'll talk about that separately. That's not going on the altar. That's an offering to my childhood self. What I also got for the altar space that I'm going to play with is this as well. This, I believe, is for sake or soy sauce. Bear with me because I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. $3. Adorable. It has a little spout, so obviously it's meant for something to pour out of it. Sometimes when I got into a couple Japanese restaurants in the city and got sake before with my Virgo counterpart to my Pisces, Pablo, who's one of my college friends, this is what they would serve it in, hot sake. So also something for us to work with. I'm going to save a couple of these other things for my wedding vlog because that'll be helpful. This is probably, well, this I know is just going to go out for the holidays. It's funny because I looked at the bottom and it's from, it's a flower arrangement usually goes in here, which is why this was in there. I'm just going to toss this. I don't need this. $5 for like any kind of like dish or something for Christmas for the holidays. And it was 50% off. So actually it was $2.50. So I had to get that, of course. What is this? Oh, so just a little sale price tag for that. And yeah, so let's go to a little bit of our altar creation. I'm going to wipe it down so you guys aren't bored with the full like cleaning. Maybe I'll do a little time lapse of it or something. And then I'll talk about more about decorating an altar space, what my like thought process is when I'm doing that in the next slide. Oh, something else I forgot to mention actually. I got this picture frame with a little wall mount, $2, also at the same place for this photo. So I'm going to put and assemble all of these pictures together. I'll do that as we're chatting about altar spaces. And then this I love because this is called the triptych in human design. Wow, I'm so used to saying that. A triptych in art where you have something that is like a 3-paneled piece. One of my favorite art pieces is The Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch. And what I also love about the backing to this, which is like the little like toggles that it has to just lift out, is something that I like to do because I love collage work. And I can just put a pin to secure the 2 photos of my grandparents at the beach. It's either the beach or it kind of looks more like a lake. Where my mom grew up in North Jersey, which is actually the same town as where Florida water is bottled, which is funny, in Westwood. There's a couple lakes that were up there that no longer exist, but I'm going to put these photos in here and then probably do something fun, maybe some pressed flowers or some other things on the side here, and also put that on my little altar space. So I don't want to forget to say that. How much was it? $4 for this as well. Yeah, and then $2 for this. I felt like, oh no, I didn't have another, I had a 4th photo, but I didn't have a 4th picture frame for that. So just a couple other sweet things that I'm really excited to put together. Just so nice, like with the changing of the season, especially if you're someone like me that has gate 5 in human design, it's just nice to kind of revamp the space. So I just want to clean it up a little bit. I also love getting things up on the wall. Although, because of who I am as a person, I don't like to just throw things up there without intention. Taurus 4th house things. So I wanted to think critically about like, what are the things that I have? Let me live in this space, get bigger pieces of furniture. We're still moving things around. My husband also is always moving things around in his office because we both work from home primarily. And so just really living in this space and thinking about what you want to do, especially when you go from apartment life. We were in a 1-bedroom apartment to home ownership. It is such a jump. And so especially now, like being really thrifty and crafty about whatever it is that you're putting up on your walls, give yourself the time to do that. Do not stress yourself out from one person that loves to decorate to another. So on to making the altar space. Just for context as well, this is the space, the wall space, and the offer space that I'm working with. This is a manifestation one that my friend Andrea, she's an amazing artist. I'll post her Instagram here so you guys can follow her. I love her so much. She's a Taurus, such good energy, a 1-3 generator, like myself. And so, well, manifesting generator, but we're both 1-3s. And so this is a space we're working with. So I have a bunch of beautiful things here. I have my little clothing rack. You guys can kind of see like the lay of the land for those of you that have been here where I was sitting, obviously. I'm going to do some cleaning and then just go through the things that I have as well. Also, for those of you who didn't know, I did a lot of feng shui when we first moved into this house. So everything I do pull out the bagua for. If you guys want more content and like decorating for human design and astrology, specifically with feng shui, also something that we can touch on. But let's do a little bit of cleaning before we decorate and we'll do a little yapping at the same time. This is also my work my work buddy and studio cat. He missed his mommy and daddy very much. We got a very firm talking to. Didn't you know? Yeah, because you missed us and we miss you. And every day I said, Benny, we'll be home soon. He's giving me the slow blinkies, but he's very intentionally hunting squirrels or watching his squirrel friends and his chipmunks at the same time. So let's get started on this. So my Wi-Fi extender is going to stay here. I'm going to move everything off so that I can clean it first. So we got this as a registry gift. Thank you, Uncle Tom and Aunt Mia. This has been amazing. We've used it like every day. Benny's very scared as I'm using it. So I'm going to put it over here for the boy. Don't worry, Benny. Oh. I also want to get some paper towels and spray so that I can spray this too. Okay, so I ended up going upstairs eating and then coming back down and realizing that I had my Patreon trainings that I was going to run out of time, and not even time because like I work for myself, but I was going to run out of energy if I didn't do them when I did them last night. So I saved this for today instead. And I like doing certain house projects, like I was mentioning earlier in this video, like on my own time, meaning like I like to take space to be able to decorate and do things like as I please. So that way I feel like it's an actual reflection of what I'm trying to do and what I am trying to create. So I'll do a little bit of cleaning and then get to decorating and see how I want to put this altar together, what I feel like calls me. And the good thing about like an altar as well is that it's a living piece of artwork. You know, it's a way that you can dedicate your energy, your time, your reverence, your love to your ancestors. So it's something that can always kind of have this movability to it, things you can change around through the different seasons. If you guys like to do any kind of spells or practices, witchy things, spiritual things, religious things that you feel called to you, it's a good way to kind of do that as well. Okay, here is the finished product. For now, I'm going to work on some more flowers or something, pictures for the inside of there. I just don't want to cut up old photographs, and those two photos of my grandparents in the middle need to be flattened before they can sit straight. So I'm going to put them like that for now. It's okay, they're a little crooked. I have the little Caravaggio cherub, and then some more of my little artifacts over here. There's so much that you can put on an altar space and just finding what works. Those flowers are actually from my wedding flowers from our arch that we had. I'll have more videos about that in my wedding vlog. And then a few of my decks, my little cinnamon wand, and then of course the fire is going because it is already cold out. So I'm so excited. I think it looks so cute. I'm so happy with it. And I had the help of my husband now. So when you walk in, hold on, let's do a. It's like when you clean your house and you want to walk in to make sure that it looks like good. I love that. And then I have a couple other things I obviously have to clean up. That's old fabric and stuff, but it looks so good and I love the dim lighting. I have my furry boy there that is waiting for me. I know we're going to go in a minute. We're going to take care of the flowers for me to dry the flowers and do a little bit more organizing and cleaning. I love it so much. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little altar vlog. I'm so excited to see or know if you guys have any questions about what you put on your altar space, some things that you think would be maybe some good additions for me to consider. But remember, it doesn't have to be something that's super refined, super perfect. It's just a way that you can kind of honor your ancestors and feel like you are in communion with the divine, with the other side, in a way that makes it more tangible and realistic. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, anything that you want to do that just helps me help you in this portal, in this space, in this window in time. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.